Hi, this is Dr. Thomas Rocco from CBD Health Podcast. Today's guest is Bernard Perry. He's from Restorative Botanicals. That's restorativebotanicals.com. Today will be a very interesting discussion about starting his company in Colorado, but also he's got involved with mushrooms, mushroom products. And he has a new functional mushroom product line that he's going to discuss. It'll be very interesting. I'm going to learn today. Please listen. You'll learn too. Bernard, thanks for taking time out of your busy day to speak with us on CBD Health Podcast.
Hi there.
Hi, Bernard. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm Dr. Rocco, Tom Rocco. Thanks for speaking with me. I'm actually have some questions for you looking at your website. So I'm really thrilled that you wanted to speak with me. So again, this is Restorative Botanicals, right? Restorativebotanicals.com.
Yes, it is.
And I'm impressed that you're throughout the whole entire country, not just one area. A lot of times I speak with people and they only kind of distribute in one little area, but you are throughout the entire country. It's amazing.
Yes, we have retailers everywhere. We sell online and on Amazon, and we also do a lot of private label work.
Wow. Yeah, I did see that too. Now, how long has this company been around? How long have you been the president and the founder of this company?
Well, we started back in May 2015, so we're one of the older companies on the market.
And it's kind of funny you say that. That is so true. Like 2015 doesn't sound like a long time ago, but truly that's one of the oldest companies because a lot of people have gotten into it like in the last 3 years.
Yeah, that's right. We got into it, very specifically when we discovered CBD, and in those days there just weren't a lot of companies working in the space. So we saw it as a great opportunity to really provide a lot of benefits for a lot of people.
It really does. I mean, I use it a lot in my practice for people that want to try different therapy than the normal prescription medication. And it tends to work for most patients. But, starting in 2015, that at least speaking with people that are involved back then, it was kind of, there was no kind of regulations to companies. They kind of did whatever they wanted. And I'm finding now that the better companies are still in play, and the ones that were kind of doing it the wrong way have they're kind of gone at the wayside. So you have to been doing it pretty well, probably doing the testing, the proper growing, and that's why you're still around. Again, it sounds like it's 2015 doesn't sound that long ago, but that is early for a CBD hemp company to still be in practice because things have changed in the last couple of years about regulations.
Yeah, when we found the space, we actually looked at the cannabis space first as a place to start a new business. And it was a little bit wild west there in the marijuana space as well.
Absolutely.
And through that exploration, we learned about CBD and the benefits of cannabis without the THC, if you will. Right. And we realized early on that this was a product that had tremendous implication for people's health in a whole host of different, areas. And so we thought, well, this would be the place we wanted to land. And so we started looking around, and in those days, there wasn't a lot of good delivery mechanisms. The products were rough at best. And even though they were delivering benefit, we knew that we could do it a lot better. So what our mission was to first and foremost make products that we would use ourselves and give to our kids. Right. Products that we would know would be safe. Right. And that was really our first guiding principle. And our second one was to make products that were not only effective, but also tasted good or smelled good. Because a lot of the products on the market in those days were being sold in syringes that you poured under your tongue, and it was a horrible experience, messy and unpleasant. So what we wanted to do was make tinctures and supplement food products that were really functional and easy and enjoyable to use.
Right. Some of my patients, one of the complaints is that the taste of some of the oils are so harsh and bitter, they just can't even continue taking it. Because that's important. you want people to be able to take the product or the medication or the therapy, but if they're not going to enjoy it to a point where it's adverse to them, they're not going to continue with the therapy.
And they're gonna stop using the product.
Mhm. Where did you, now it's 2015, where were you 2015? What part of the country did you have this thought and process to start this company?
We're out here in Colorado, and I've
Okay.
been living here in Colorado since 1990.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was kind of an epicenter, if you will, of
Right.
along with California, the medical marijuana, and then led the way in recreational marijuana. And so cannabis was, you know, a very important part of the developing economy in the state, and it presented great opportunities.
Mhm.
But we found our passion with the hemp side of things, the cannabinoids that are non-intoxicating.
Mhm.
And again, because we thought it was just a much better way to reach more people. Everybody could use these products, and everybody can benefit from these products in one way, shape, or form. That's something we learned early on, you know, for sleep support, for calming effects, you know, helping people with stage fright or just daily issues with, you know, anxiety and so
Mhm.
forth.
Right.
And then also all the relief for weary muscle and joints that you could get, and sleep support. These were all benefits that you could derive from hemp CBD and the other cannabinoids with the entourage effect. And so at the end of the day, it became our passion, and we're all true believers here.
And you had good foresight because 2015, going back to that year, the Farm Bill wasn't passed yet. And that's, I'm going to tell you, a lot of the companies I talk to now that are doing very well, they started after that happened, but you're already ahead of the game by 3, 4 years. And, you know, that for you gave them, you're a step ahead of everybody too.
Yeah, I think there were probably about 15 companies in all of the United States that were even looking at these products. So we were one of the earlier ones.
Right. So do you, in terms of the product, are you growing it yourself or you're getting it from other growers and that's how you make your products?
Well, we actually start with hemp extract that we purchase from others. And that's always been a question. Should we go seed the shelf? And a lot of our competitors went that way, but
Mhm.
you know, our view was that's a lot of different things to try and do right. And
Right.
we're not farmers,
Right.
and we're not extractors,
Mhm.
but what we are is product developers and manufacturers of really world class,
Mhm.
um, CPG level CBD type products,
Right.
supplements. Actually, these days, we've expanded into all sorts of nootropics and adaptogens with our mushroom lines and so
Well,
forth.
yeah, I want to get to that. That is something totally new. I don't want to hit on that yet, but that's,
Sure.
I've seen that now, and well, as an option for people to try. I know, you know, this is just like in 2011 when I got into medical marijuana licensing and learning about CBD years later. I feel like that about mushrooms right now. Back then, I didn't know anything about the hemp plant, and now this is a whole new thing, which I'm so happy you know some about and you're selling that. Before we even talk about that, but like you said, your locations are throughout the entire country. And is it when you look at your website and there's locations, is it Restorative Botanicals or is it through other stores that you sell your products?
So we have a couple of ways that we do business. Primary way is selling the Restorative Botanicals products and brand. We
Right.
also have another brand called Urban Alchemy,
Mhm.
and that is targeted for a younger demographic and more of a point of purchase, low price point entry
Right.
product. None of these products are focused on intoxicants. So we don't work with Delta 8. We don't
Mhm.
have high THC products that we put through our own lines.
Mhm.
Everything we're doing really is focused on the CBD component
Right.
and the entourage effect with the other
Right.
minor.
Absolutely. Right. Now, the other thing I like is you have, you know, if you look on your website, the product guide. I haven't done it yet, but I want to do it. But there's a quiz for products, so I guess you could you can figure out what you need by doing your quiz. And I'm assuming it comes up with products that would be proper for you for that moment.
Yeah, it helps guide you through the
Right.
process of making that initial purchase decision. The wonderful thing about these products is that they all work to cover a whole spectrum of different situations that a person might be encountering. Sleep support, support with anxiety or muscle and joint weariness or injury recovery. The formulations that we make, though, then skew towards certain functionalities in order to optimize for effect.
Mhm.
So, yeah, as an example, for any kind of ache and pain, I like the pure product because of the hemp seed oil that comes along with it, the fatty acids, the omega-6, 3 and 6 fatty acids specifically, and the CBD hemp extracts infused beautifully into the hemp seed oil as a perfect carrier oil. So you're getting a whole spectrum of functionalities, but particularly useful for anything that deals with muscles and joints. Also excellent for sleep. Some of the other stuff that we make is focused on for people that have issues with flavor and palate. The pure product is very herbaceous. I love that word.
Right, that's a good way to describe it, though. So
Grass,
you're telling me the pure products have a harsher taste? That's what you're?
more grassy and
Right,
plant-like,
right.
natural. The calm products that we make, on the other hand, are designed for people that have palate sensitivities that really have to have something that tastes really good. And so we have chocolate mint flavors, mandarin orange, spice, things like this that make it easy to take. And it's an MCT coconut oil as a carrier oil. So it's really a neutral flavor kind of oil and provides its own benefits in and of itself. But then with the CBD hemp extract, we're able to derive things like sleep support, calming functionalities with good flavors.
And obviously with CBD, with those products, you have capsules and oils and tinctures and lotions, and edibles,
Yes.
right? All those. But well, I do, you talk about the mushrooms, the mushroom, you call them the functional mushroom product line. So you have it, and it looks like you even have different mushrooms for different reasons. If it's for your brain, sleep, immune system, your gut, and it comes in capsules and gummies. I'm assuming you can't make mushrooms into oil. Is that the first question I have? Is that true?
Actually, you can put them into tincture extracts,
You
typically
can,
with alcohol.
right?
And we haven't opened up that category yet, but we are looking at it.
Looking at,
I must say that, on the hemp side, we also have our edibles, which are we're really renowned for our caramels and gummies. And we're going to be adding the caramels into a mushroom variant.
really?
But when we started looking at, the cannabis side, these are products that you got immediate effect from. You knew when you took them, you could perceive them profoundly, especially after a period of several days of use. Then all of a sudden, a lot of aches and pains and things like that would start disappearing.
Right.
With mushrooms, on the other hand, it's a little bit different in that you don't get that immediate effect. And what you do get is a powerful effect over a period of time. But when we looked at designing this line, we wanted to do something more than just come up with a lion's mane capsule or gummy for brain support, because the research on lion's mane that's coming out these days is just spectacular, backing up with, I guess, the Chinese have known for thousands of years. But what we wanted to do was take that next step in the product design. We wanted to start with the lion's mane as a base and add nootropics that further supported brain health. And each of our SKUs is targeted at specific functions within the body or functionalities. So our brain capsule and gummy, for example, in the capsule, we used bacopa as a secondary nootropic to the functionality for brain support, focus, clarity, energy, things like this, as well as a whole host of things that I can't even go into that EA would shoot me for. But on the gummy, then we found that the flavor profile, it broke our second principle. We don't make things that don't work first and taste good or smell good. So we
Right.
switched to rhodiola, which is also another nootropic that has similar functionality. And so we've done that to each of our different mushroom products.
So just for definition source, right? When we talk about, you know, hemp, cannabinoids, you know, THC, CBD, CBG. For mushrooms, it's defined as nootropic. Is that what you, or eutropic? Is that what you're saying? Like, is it kind of, that's what a mushroom kind of definition is?
Well, actually, no, nootropics are more brain supporting herbal and adaptogens and other compounds.
Mhm.
Um, the mushrooms, though, have specific functionalities that are really supportive of different parts of the human physiology.
Mhm.
The lion's mane, for example, brain. Turkey tail is extremely functional in gut for helping the
Mhm.
gut biome, and then reishi for energy, and other mushrooms for other functionalities.
So,
So,
I got it. So those definition of the specific mushroom helps this different specific body, which is interesting because, you know, CBD tends to helps the whole immune system. This is really more directed for the action with the mushrooms.
yes, correct.
And there's
On top of
this,
that, we had the adaptogen or nootropic that then supports that specific function as well.
so it's the other thing is it psychoactive at all, the mushrooms?
The mushrooms that we're working with
Mm,
now are not.
they're not.
There are mushrooms that are very psychoactive, and
Mhm.
we're just very anxious to get involved in that once there's a legal pathway to
Right.
do so, and a safe, more importantly, a safe way to do so for microdosing and things like that.
Mhm. Right.
We believe in the power of the psychedelics as well, but there's just not enough known as far as how to use them safely, and in what quantities and so forth. So everything we're doing now on the mushroom side is defined as a functional mushroom,
Mhm.
as opposed to a psychedelic.
Psychedelic. So again, back to CBD, there's dosing that I've finally learned over the years. With mushroom products, is it a dose that you take? Is that something that's defined with each, capsule or gummy that you take?
Yes, they're like with CBD, there are various concentrations. You can get CBD hemp extract that's concentrated 30 to 40%, which is really raw and full of waxes and so forth. Or you can get it more refined in the 65% range, or you can get distillates that are in the 80% range, or isolates, which are in the 90% range. So
Right.
with mushrooms, you can do kind of similar
Same
things
thing.
based on the way that you extract the compounds that you're looking for. With basic extractions, they call it a one-to-one extraction. You're going to pull out a lot of your beta glucans and polysaccharides. And then if you're going to take it to another level of extraction, then you can start focusing on some of the terpenes and terpenoids that are in the compounds, as well as the flavonoids, and then as well as beta glucans and so forth. And then there are further ways to concentrate it, or to form things like alcohol tinctures, where actually then taking a whole nother step. And so all of the products we're making right now are basically targeting the polysaccharides, the beta glucans and whatnot, making them bioavailable, as well as we're picking up flavonoids and terpenoids in there as well. But for the most part, we're looking at that early stage base extraction level. So with that, we target about 300, well, not about, but 300 milligrams of functional mushroom powder per serving. And then some customers will double up and take a double serving to get 60, which is a lot of mushroom powder. And then with the nootropics on top of that, they're very functional. A serving size of these products, it's very, won't get the same immediate effect that you get from the cannabinoids, but it is there and profound.
So it seems like a starting dose of 300 is something that's safe. The other thing with mushrooms, it seems like it's more of an additive process. As you're taking it, you're going to get more of the additive effect. And it might take longer. there are obviously medications that you prescribe as a doctor. You tell them you got to wait a whole month before you figure out if it's working or not. As different than taking, it's like an anxiety prescription where you should work immediately. So so mushrooms are definitely different, and they seem more direct to where they're going to perform for your ailment, which is really neat. If that's truly the case, like you said, there's mushrooms for the brain, mushrooms for the gut, mushrooms for your immune system. That's really interesting.
So, I look at it sort of like cannabinoids work across the spectrum of different use cases.
Mhm.
But certain cannabinoids work better for energy, work better for sleep, like CBN is an
Right,
example,
right.
and so forth. THC, if you're looking for the psychotoxic or the getting high part.
Mhm.
But with mushrooms, it's similar in that, maybe as an example, lion's mane, brain focus, you get 60% of the hit of the mushroom for brain focus, but it also supports the immune system,
Mhm.
and it also supports,
Right.
other functions. And that's the same with all of the mushrooms. So at the end of the day, it the mushroom world and the cannabis world are very similar, but
Similar.
working
Mhm.
like at different dimensions, if you will,
Right.
of physiology, working on different systems within the body to support different functionalities.
Now you wonder, like you just mentioned, would taking a cannabinoid and a mushroom at the same time, working different areas, work better together, like almost a super entourage effect. And it's something to look down the road.
Absolutely. Our bodies are, as you know, better than most, are hugely complex.
Right.
We're just really learning how the different systems interact with each other. And the endocannabinoid system provides a whole set of regulatory functionalities for multiple body functions. Well, the mushrooms do the same thing, but at a different level.
Right.
And where they work on different systems. Some of them overlap, others do not. So we use both all the time. We use everything that we make, because it provides the best approach to regulating our physiology. Cannabinoids regulate certain parts of our physiology, the CB1, CB2 receptor systems and so forth. And the mushrooms regulate different physiological systems within our bodies. So we get the best of both worlds. And ultimately, we'll combine cannabinoids with the mushroom products. And we have in one case our Sleep Plus product, where we use sleep-focused mushrooms as well as other herbal adaptogens and nootropics, as well as a CBD component.
So you've already done it. You've already done it.
Yeah. And it looks beautiful.
I'm going to say, any good feedback?
Excellent feedback on the Sleep Plus product.
And I'm sure there's no hangover in the morning like you would get if you took an Ativan, a Valium. You probably wake up feeling fresh.
Wake up feeling fresh, and everything we make is all natural. These are herbal supplements. So there's nothing in there that you can't pronounce. Nothing the Latin names of the mushrooms. They're a little bit tough sometimes. It's all natural products, no pharmaceuticals. So
Bernard, you're killing me now. It took me forever to convince my patients that older that hear CBD and they think, if I take this, I'm going to get high. Now I'm going to start discussing mushrooms. They're going to go crazy. They're going to think they're going to be like floating through their house when they start taking these products. I gotta, I have to reassure them it's natural, organic, and it's, like you said, non-intoxicating, not psychoactive.
Yeah, so the best way to approach the mushroom perspective is, you say, there are functional mushrooms, and then there are psychedelics.
Right.
And so what you want is the functional mushrooms, and let you want to explore the psychedelics. And really, we think that the psychedelic mushrooms are it's such an exciting field for people with depression and post-traumatic shock syndrome, head injuries. It just goes on and on and on for the benefits for brain rehabilitation, repair, and support. It just is tremendous. Unfortunately, it's got such powerful effect on the body if you take too much, and that needs to be better understood, and
Yeah.
safe ways to microdose have got to be come up with, and regulations that will allow people to make and sell these types of products. They have yet to be developed.
Yeah. No, I was happy to see we could talk a little bit about that because I need to do more research on, like you said, functional mushrooms. I have not had a patient yet come to me and ask me about that yet, but it's always nice to know a little bit. But all right, Bernard, I think I gotta go back to work. I appreciate your time. This is great. You taught me a lot. But it's a great website. I love the whole product guide and the quiz because that's what people need. They need help kind of guiding them for what dose and what to use. And that, that's really helpful because that's most of the phone calls I get is just, where do I start? And that's, people are interested. Now I got to learn about mushrooms too.
Please do.
All right. Well, keep in touch. I appreciate the time. Good luck with the, your company. Like I said, you're one of the, like, you're the oldest company I've ever spoken to. In terms of like most people have started after the farm bill figuring they can get in on it, but you had good foresight and you're way before them.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And it's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Same
and
here. We'll
look
keep in
forward to
touch.
that.
All
And
right.
if you need some samples to try, I'd be more than happy to
All right,
send.
great. I appreciate that, Bernard. Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.